Hello students, I hope you are doing good. In my last video, I had explained to you prose 4 from the diary of Anne Frank. We had completed with the explanation part and I had asked you to try answering the questions which have been given in the text. Now in this video, I have come up with a discussion of questions so that you can tally your answers. So students, if you have done your questions, please sit down and correct your answers, tally your answers. And if you are not done, then it's high time. Please sit down and write the answers. So, we shall start with the first question given under the name activity on page number 49. This question says, do you keep a diary? Now the answer is subjective one. If you keep a diary, then of course you'll write yes. If you don't keep a diary, then you have to write no. But then my personal advice to you, suggestion to you is, please develop the habit of maintaining a diary. It's a very, very good thing. Good thing in the long run of life. So what we are required to do here is, we have been provided with two columns here. Column A and column B. In column A, we have been given some questions. Not questions, they are terms. There are 4 different terms given in column A, and in column B, their definitions have been given, but they are kind of mixed up. So what we have to do, what we are required to do is that we have to match column A, that means the terms, with their exact definitions. So let's start. Number 1. Term number 1 is journal. And its correct definition is that it is the last one in your column B. It is a written record of events with times and dates, usually official. So what is a journal? A journal is a written record of events. It is usually official. And this record of events, writes about the correct time and sequence. Okay. Now, the second term is your diary. And its meaning is the first one in your column B. A book with a separate space or page for each day in which you write down your thoughts and feelings or what has happened on that day. So guys, I think nobody requires an explanation of what a personal diary is. You can record your personal thoughts, your personal feelings, personal emotions, and whatever has happened to you. You also might have done diary entries on various questions in your previous classes. So a diary is a written kind of thought, which it's a kind of book. It's a kind of space where each and every page has been allotted for different day, and you write down there your thoughts, your feelings, and of course events. So this is a kind of informal thing. Now question number 3 is term log, L-O-G, log. And what is a log? The second part of your column B is the correct answer. A log is a full record of a journey, a period of time, or an event written every day. So what is a log? A log is a full record of a journey or an event or any period of time which is written every day. So that is log. Remember, you maintain your class log. That is also a kind of log. A record of events, whatever happens each day, every day. Okay. Now, number 4 is memoirs. And what's that? So, memoir is a record of a person's own life and experiences, usually a famous person. So, a memoir is a record of a person's own life and own experiences, and it usually famous people, they write down their memoirs. Okay, now in number 2 you have been given some prompts and then you have to fill up the blanks which have been given here. So let's read out the question. Here are some entries from personal records. Use the definitions above to decide which of the entries might be from a diary, a journal, a log, or a memoir. So you have to decide whether it's a journal, whether it's a memoir or log or diary. So number 1. I woke up very late today and promptly got a scolding from mum. I can't help it. How can I miss the FIFA World Cup matches? So what is this? This sort of writing is diary. What is it? Diary. Okay. Number 2. C. Everything has been given in a gist. 10:30 a.m. went to the office of the director. 1 p.m. had lunch with chairman. 5:45 p.m. received Rahul at the airport. 9:30 p.m. dinner at home. What is it? It's a log. Correct. It's a log. L-O-G. Log. Third, the ride to Ooty was uneventful. We rested for a while every 50 kilometers or so and used the time to capture the magnificent landscape with my handy cam. From Ooty, we went on to Bangalore. What a contrast! The noise and pollution of this once beautiful city really broke my heart. Now this describes about a journey. So this is a journal. Now number 4. This is how Raj Kapoor found me. All wet and ragged outside RK Studios. He was then looking for just someone like this for a small role in Mera Naam Joker. And he cast me on the spot. The rest, as they say, is history. What is this? This is memoir. Can you guess whose memoir is this? Let it be your assignment. You have read this. Someone found outside RK Studios in a very wet and rad condition and he became a very famous celebrity. Find out. Let it be a suspense for now. Now, let's continue with the next set of questions which have been given under the oral comprehension check on page number 51. So question number 1 is, what makes writing in a diary a strange experience for Anne Frank? Okay. So writing in a diary is a strange experience for Anne Frank because she has never done anything like this before and she feels that nobody would be interested in the musings of a 13-year-old girl. Okay, so both the points are there. First is that she has not written anything like this before, and second thing is that she feels that nobody would be interested in the emotions, the kind of musings of a 13-year-old girl. So that's why diary writing is a strange experience for her. Second question says, why does Anne want to keep a diary? Anne wants a true friend with whom she can disclose her secrets. Although she has many friends, but then she wants to spend happy time with them. She doesn't have anybody with whom she can share her secret. Plus, she thinks that paper has much more patience than people. If she writes something on page in a diary, then that thing will not be disclosed by that diary. But if she speaks this to somebody else, then maybe that thing is leaked out. Okay. Now, Number 3. Why did Anne think she could confide more in her diary than in people? Anne feels that a diary paper has more patience than people. Because whatever feelings you write on paper will not be spoken out, will not be disclosed by that paper. On the contrary, if you share your secret, if you write about your secret to some friend or to speak to that friend, maybe that secret, that thing is leaked out. If that person is a friend, maybe she or he doesn't leak out, but maybe later on, maybe the friendship doesn't remain, whatever. But you cannot rely any person. But a paper can always be relied, because it will never speak out your things, your feelings, your emotions. Whatever you write on it will be permanently written on it, kept in under it as a shield. Now, so this was your oral comprehension check. On the same page you see at the last, another oral comprehension check has been given. 2 questions are there. First question is, why does Anne provide a brief sketch of her life? She provides a brief sketch of her life because if she plunges right in, that means if she starts writing directly her feelings, nobody will understand the thing. She has treated diary as a friend, so that is why you require to introduce yourself to your friend. So like a true friend, she has introduced herself to her diary, which she calls lovingly Kitty. So she has introduced herself so that if any means nobody will be confused when he writes the first entry. He or she, or even the diary whom she considers as her friend, will be completely aware, completely known to Anne before reading the other emotions or the things of Anne. So she writes her introduction. What tells you that Anne loved her grandmother? See, she always misses her grandmother, and the fact that she has lit up candles on her 13th birthday for her grandmother. This is a kind of thing, this is a kind of proof that she loves her grandmother very much. Okay, now let's come to the oral comprehension check on page number 54. Question number 1 is, why was Mr. Keesing annoyed with Annie? What did he ask her to do? So Mr. Keesing was annoyed with Annie because she was very talkative and she talked in his class, even after his repeated warnings. What did he ask her to do? He asked her to write an essay on the topic, a chatterbox, as an additional homework. Okay. Now, question number 2. How did Anne justify her being a chatterbox in her essay? Anne presents very convincing arguments in her favor to justify her being a chatterbox. The first point she writes is that talking is a student's trait. But still, she will try to keep this trait under control. But the second point, she says that her mother also talked as much as her, if not more than her. So she has inherited this talking trait from her mother. So even if she wants to control her talking things, talking trait, but there is nothing which one can do regarding one's inherited traits. So here she has inherited her talking trait from her mother, and therefore you cannot do. She is helpless in controlling herself because she has got this as she has inherited this from her mother. Question number 3. Do you think Mr. Keesing was a strict teacher? Yes, Mr. Keesing was a strict teacher. He did not like if anybody talked in his class. And therefore you see that he warns several times. He warns Anne several times. And when then also Anne doesn't stop, then as a kind of additional assignment, he gives her to write an essay on the topic chatterbox. So this is also a kind of punishment. So he is a strict teacher, but then he is not harsh. Okay? Now, what made Mr. Keesing allow Anne to talk in class? See, when Keesing saw that Anne did not reform herself, she kept on talking, then Mr. Keesing was kind of annoyed. He assigned her an extra task. He asked her to write an essay on the topic quack, 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 said Mistress Chatterbox. Now, this was a very tough task for Anne because she had already exhausted her whole originality and genuine ideas and creativity in the last 2 essays. The first essay was on a chatterbox. Second essay was on an incorrigible chatterbox. So this was the third topic for her on chatterbox. So in fact, all the ideas she had missed, all the ideas she had kind of exhausted. Now she has nothing left to write. So what does she write? She takes help of one of her friends and she decides to write her whole essay in the form of verse. And she writes a very beautiful story where there are 3 baby ducklings and the father swan is very, very angry on baby duckling because they quack too much. And therefore, the father swan, he did not like baby ducklings talking so much. So, baby ducklings were bitten to death by father swan. So this was presented in the form of verse as an essay. So when Keesing read this, luckily he took this whole poem in a very light-hearted manner. He in fact was so impressed by the creativity of Anne that he gave his additional comments and he read this poem in all his classes. And after that, maybe he was very impressed by Anne, and he, now after that he was not annoyed with Anne, and everything went quite smoothly, and he allowed Anne to talk in the class. Okay, so dear students, these are the questions given under the heading Oral Comprehension Checks. We have completely done it. In my next video, I shall be discussing the questions which have been given under the heading Thinking About the Text. For now, let's bid goodbye. Take care of yourselves. Bye.